The space station hummed with life. Ships of all shapes and sizes floated in the docks, while beings from countless worlds moved along the gleaming corridors. Humans, aliens with shimmering scales, others with multiple eyes, and some that shimmered with light like fireflies all mingled in a busy, vibrant dance. It was a place where differences were celebrated, but negotiations and diplomacy were constant. Captain Eliar walked through the main concourse, his boots clicking softly on the metal floor. He adjusted the strap of his uniform and took a deep breath. Today was important. He was not here as a soldier or a trader, but as a diplomat, a human representative for his world. The assignment was simple on paper. Negotiate a trade agreement with the Zintrians, an alien species known for their luminous skin and elegant grace. In practice, it was daunting. Zintrians were polite, intelligent, and highly observant, but they rarely showed emotion openly. Only through subtle color shifts in their skin could someone understand what they were feeling. Misread a signal, and an entire trade agreement could collapse. Eliar's thoughts were interrupted by a voice. "Captain Eliar?" He turned and saw her. Lyra. She stood near a docking window, looking at the stars. She was tall, her skin shimmering with a faint silver glow. Her hair, if one could call it that, flowed like a gentle stream of light. Eliar felt a moment of hesitation, then reminded himself that he was here for diplomacy, not distraction. "Yes, I am Eliar, and you must be Lyra," he said, bowing slightly. Lyra turned fully, her face forming a delicate smile. "I am. Welcome to the station, Captain. I hope your journey was comfortable." Eliar nodded. "It was. Thank you. The stars were beautiful. I've never seen so many colors." Lyra's skin pulsed softly, a delicate pink tint spreading across her cheeks. Eliar noticed it instantly. She was reacting to his words, but why? Was she pleased, surprised, or amused? He decided to take a gentle risk. Humans were sometimes too blunt, but Eliar trusted his instincts. "You look very pretty today," he said. The words hung in the air. Eliar immediately regretted saying them out loud. In human culture, it was polite and kind. But in alien cultures, who knew? He had no idea how Zintrians would react to compliments about appearance. Lyra froze for a heartbeat. Then her skin shifted in a slow, radiant glow. Pink deepened to a soft rose, then to a warm, shimmering gold near her shoulders. Her eyes, a bright silver, widened slightly. Eliar's heart skipped. She was blushing. "Thank you, Captain Eliar," she said softly, her voice musical. The colors continued to dance across her skin, a language of emotion that only she could speak fluently. Eliar swallowed, surprised by his own reaction. He had expected protocol, maybe a polite bow, but this was different. It was personal, gentle, alive. In that moment, he realized that across all the stars and planets, human honesty and kindness had a unique power. "I didn't mean to offend," Eliar said quickly, though he had no idea if he had. "I only wanted to be polite." Lyra's smile widened, and her glow softened. "You did not offend. It is unusual, but it is kind. Humans speak directly. Zintrians rarely do." Eliar nodded. "We value honesty and respect. I hope it is acceptable." "It is," Lyra replied. "Very acceptable." She glanced toward the docking bay, then back at him. "Come, the council is expecting us." They walked together through the station, their steps echoing lightly. Eliar couldn't help stealing glances at her. Lyra's presence was calming and powerful at the same time. Her skin shimmered with each small movement, reflecting the station lights in soft, radiant patterns. Humans could not glow, but he wondered if that was a disadvantage or an advantage. The council chamber was large and circular, with tall windows looking out into space. Delegates from multiple planets were seated, and at the center, a platform where the negotiations would take place. Eliar's human ambassador uniform felt stiff and formal compared to the flowing elegance of Lyra's attire, which seemed made of light itself. As they approached the council, Eliar reminded himself why he was here. The trade agreement was crucial for both planets. Earth needed Zintrian technology for energy efficiency, and Zintra sought human agricultural knowledge. It was a simple exchange, but delicate. One wrong word could ruin the discussions. The council members greeted them. Lyra's color shifted slightly. A welcoming, soft lavender. Eliar smiled, hoping his own calm demeanor would balance her subtle signals. "Greetings, honored council members," Lyra said, her voice even and musical. "Captain Eliar has come to discuss the trade agreement between our worlds." Eliar stepped forward. "It is a privilege to meet all of you. I hope we can find a solution that benefits both our peoples." The council members nodded, murmuring in various alien tongues. Some voices were harsh, others melodic, but all were attentive. Eliar noticed a few Zintrians leaning slightly toward Lyra, watching her reaction closely. The discussion began formally. Numbers, resources, schedules, and routes were exchanged. Eliar focused on clarity, speaking slowly and deliberately. Lyra translated some of the more subtle Zintrian points, her skin glowing faintly gold whenever she emphasized important details. During a short break, Eliar followed Lyra to a quiet observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before them, planets and moons casting gentle light. Eliar leaned on the railing, feeling the quiet hum of the station beneath his feet. "I did not expect your compliment," Lyra said softly. "Humans are bold." Eliar smiled. "Boldness can be useful. Sometimes honesty matters more than formality." Lyra's glow shifted again. A soft lavender tint mixed with the previous gold. "You are different from other humans I have met. They follow protocol. Avoid emotion. You speak truth." Eliar chuckled. "I suppose I do. Truth can be powerful." He paused, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. "I didn't expect your reaction either." "It was beautiful." Lyra's eyes met his, and her skin shimmered in a quiet, soft pink. "That is a rare emotion for a Zintrian. You should know that." "I do not blush easily." Eliar raised an eyebrow. "Really? Then I must have done something right." Lyra's glow deepened slightly, though her expression remained calm. "Yes. You have done something new. Something unexpected." The moment was delicate, and Eliar knew they were balancing more than just personal feelings. Every gesture, every word, had meaning. But he also realized that simple human kindness, direct, honest words, could cross the barrier of culture and species. It was a small victory, yet significant. "Tomorrow, we continue the talks," Lyra said finally. "But I want you to know, I appreciate your honesty today." Eliar nodded. "And I appreciate your trust. That means more than you know." They parted for the evening, each returning to their quarters. Eliar could not stop thinking about the blush, the glow, the warmth. In a galaxy filled with strange creatures, distant worlds, and endless challenges, he felt something familiar, yet extraordinary. Connection. Before sleep, Eliar reflected on the day. He had come to negotiate a trade agreement. He had expected protocols, formalities, and careful words. What he had not expected was that a simple compliment, a few human words, could touch an alien heart. It was a reminder that humanity had a unique gift, empathy, honesty, and courage that could bridge worlds. Lyra, meanwhile, sat quietly in her quarters, her skin glowing softly as she replayed the encounter. Humans were unusual, yes. But there was something genuine in Eliar's words, something that made her feel seen. In her culture, emotions were often hidden, carefully controlled. But today, she had responded naturally. Today, she had blushed, and it felt incredible. As the station lights dimmed for the rest cycle, both of them stared at the stars from separate windows, unknowingly thinking of each other. A human and an alien, separated by species and culture, yet connected by something as simple and powerful as honesty and kindness. Tomorrow, the negotiations would continue. Challenges awaited. Rival diplomats might try to interfere. The trade agreement was far from complete, but for now, a small seed had been planted: trust, respect, and the beginning of something new, something that could grow far beyond the confines of the council chamber. And in the quiet of space, that small, human act, a simple compliment, had made all the difference. The next morning, the space station was alive with activity. Docking bays opened, sending streams of light across the corridors as ships arrived from distant worlds. The air smelled faintly of ionized metal and recycled oxygen, a scent Eliar had grown used to over his years of travel. Captain Eliar made his way to the council chamber, but his mind was not on trade numbers or protocols. It lingered on Lyra. Her skin had glowed softly again in the early hours, a delicate lavender tint as she moved through her morning routines. Eliar found himself curious, not just about her culture, but about the being herself, the person behind the alien elegance. Lyra was already waiting near the observation deck, her luminous hair catching the soft station light. Her glow pulsed gently as Eliar approached, signaling curiosity and calm. "Good morning, Captain," she said, her voice still carrying that musical quality that fascinated him. "Good morning, Lyra," Eliar replied with a warm smile. "I hope you slept well." "I did," she answered, her color shifting to a soft pink. "And you?" "Quite well," he said, though he had hardly slept. Thoughts of her, the glow of her skin, and the warmth in her eyes had lingered through the night. They walked together toward the council chamber, but Lyra stopped him gently. "Captain Eliar, before we continue with formal negotiations, I would like to show you something." Eliar raised an eyebrow. "Something unusual?" "Not unusual, just personal. A part of Zintrian culture you may not have experienced." Curiosity piqued, Eliar followed. Lyra led him through a series of corridors, ending at a quiet hall filled with soft, diffused light. Along the walls were floating displays of Zintrian art, swirling colors that seemed alive, holographic patterns shifting with the movement of air and light. "This is an expression of our history and emotions," Lyra explained. "We do not rely solely on words. Colors, light, and patterns carry meaning. A Zintrian can convey joy, respect, or sorrow through these displays." Eliar leaned closer, fascinated. One of the patterns pulsed gently, a sequence of pinks and purples, moving like a living river. "It's beautiful," he said. "I've never seen anything like it." Lyra's glow deepened slightly, a soft golden hue brushing her shoulders. "It is a gift of our people, but it can also be misunderstood by outsiders." "I think I can understand," Eliar said, though he wasn't certain. He studied her expressions carefully. "And I want to understand. I want to learn." Lyra smiled, the colors on her skin shimmering with what he guessed was approval. "Then you are ready for the next part of our exchange." They moved to a smaller chamber where a Zintrian meal had been prepared. The food was unlike anything Eliar had ever seen: soft, glowing fruits, liquids that shifted color with movement, and textures that seemed to hum gently as they were handled. "You must try it," Lyra said, offering a small, glowing sphere. Eliar hesitated, then took it carefully. The moment it touched his tongue, a wave of sweetness and warmth spread through him. His eyes widened. "Incredible," he said, savoring the flavor. "I can taste harmony. It's unlike anything on Earth." Lyra laughed softly, a musical sound that made Eliar feel lighter. Zintrian meals are meant to connect. Eating together is an act of trust and understanding. As they shared the meal, Lyra began to explain more of her culture, how colors represented not just emotion but intention, how gestures were layered with subtle meaning, and how time was measured not only in hours but in cycles of light and energy. Eliar listened attentively, fascinated. "It's amazing," he said. "Humans rely on words mostly, and sometimes our gestures are confusing even to each other. You have a Clarity that is extraordinary. Lyra tilted her head, her skin shifting to a soft, reflective silver. It is a different way of seeing the world. And yet, humans have something equally rare: honesty in speech and courage in action. That is why I enjoy your company. Eliar's heart beat faster at her words. He knew she was expressing something meaningful, though the colors made it more vivid than words ever could. I feel the same way, Lyra, he said, his voice steady despite the excitement in his chest. Your trust means a great deal to me. After the meal, Lyra suggested they visit the station's garden. It was a small, artificial ecosystem, with plants from multiple worlds, glowing flowers, and streams of clear water that reflected the station lights. This is where we Zintrians come to think, Lyra said. To calm our minds and reflect. Humans may find it unusual. I find it incredible, Eliar replied. As they walked through the garden, they shared stories. Eliar spoke of Earth, of oceans and forests, of sunsets and storms. Lyra shared memories of Zintra, of fields that glowed under twin moons, of songs sung with light instead of sound. With each story, her skin shifted colors subtly, soft pinks and warm golds when happy, delicate blues and purples when reflective. Eliar began to understand the language of her emotions, not through words, but through observation and empathy. You are learning quickly, Lyra said, noticing his attentiveness. Many outsiders cannot read Zintrian signals. It is fascinating, Eliar said. And I want to learn. Not just for the negotiation, but for you. Lyra's glow brightened, a warm golden pink radiating across her skin. You are sincere, Captain Eliar. That is rare. For a long moment, they walked in silence, watching alien flowers glow softly in the artificial light. Eliar realized that despite the vast differences between their worlds, there was something universal: curiosity, kindness, and the desire to connect. Suddenly, a soft alarm sounded in the station. Red lights blinked along the corridors. Lyra's skin flickered briefly, a warning signal. Eliar's training kicked in immediately. What is happening? He asked. Some diplomats are dissatisfied with the ongoing negotiations, Lyra said, her voice calm but her glow pulsing with tension. They may try to interfere. Eliar nodded. We need to stay focused, then. And careful. They returned to the council chamber, where a few delegates were whispering and glancing in their direction. Eliar could sense the tension, but he also noticed the trust and respect that Lyra's presence inspired. She moved confidently, her glow steadying, signaling calm to those around her. The negotiations resumed, but Eliar and Lyra worked as a team. He would speak, and she would translate not just words, but emotion. When a delegate attempted to challenge a point aggressively, Lyra's subtle color shifts signaled his intent, allowing Eliar to respond with diplomacy rather than confrontation. By the end of the day, they had made significant progress. Agreements were tentatively accepted, and the council seemed more favorable than they had at the beginning. Eliar noticed that throughout it all, Lyra's glow remained gentle and steady, a signal of her trust and growing comfort with him. When the session ended, Lyra approached Eliar once more. You have done well today, she said softly. Her glow pulsed in soft pink and gold, not just with the negotiations, but in understanding us. That is a rare quality, Eliar smiled. I could not have done it without your guidance. I'm learning more than I imagined about Zintrians and about the power of trust. Lyra's eyes reflected the soft lights of the chamber, her expression thoughtful. Trust is the foundation of all meaningful connection. And you, human, have shown courage, honesty, and respect. That makes a difference. Eliar felt a warmth in his chest, a recognition that human qualities, small gestures, honest words, and empathy could have an impact across galaxies. A simple compliment, a shared meal, a careful observation of subtle signs, these things were as powerful as any advanced technology. As they walked back toward the observation deck, Eliar glanced at the stars. He realized that the galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers and wonders. But in that moment, he felt a deep sense of hope. Humanity's strength was not only in machines or knowledge, but in its ability to connect, to understand, and to act with courage and kindness. Lyra's glow shifted again, soft lavender and gentle gold. "Tomorrow, we face further challenges," she said. "But today has been special." "You have made it special," Eliar nodded. "And I will continue to learn from you, from your people, and from this experience. Humanity has a lot to offer, Lyra. I hope to show it." Lyra's colors pulsed in a warm rhythm, a silent expression of approval and perhaps something more. "I believe you will, Captain Eliar. That is why I trust you." As the station lights dimmed for rest, both of them stood quietly, looking at the vast expanse of stars outside. In a galaxy of countless worlds and infinite possibilities, two beings, human and Zintrian, had begun a connection that went beyond words. A connection built on honesty, curiosity, trust, and the courage to be genuine. And though challenges awaited them, both knew that today had proven something vital. Humanity had the power to touch even the most distant hearts, simply by being true to itself. The following morning, the space station awoke to a quiet tension. While the formal negotiations had made progress, whispers of discontent circulated among a few delegates. Eliar could feel it even before arriving at the council chamber. His senses, trained through years of travel and diplomacy, picked up on subtle gestures, furtive glances, nervous twitches, and the faint hum of security alerts. Lyra met him at the observation deck, her skin glowing a soft, steady pink. The warmth of her color reassured him, but the tension in the station was palpable. "Captain Eliar," she said, her voice calm yet firm. "Some of the other delegates are not satisfied. They may attempt to interfere with today's proceedings. Be prepared." "I'm ready," Eliar said, straightening his uniform. "But I have a feeling this won't be just words on paper. Something bigger may happen." Lyra nodded. "Yes, I have sensed unrest among our rivals. They are desperate to maintain influence and control, and humans are seen as unpredictable. That is dangerous for them." Eliar nodded, understanding the stakes. Unpredictable humans, yes, but also humans capable of courage, ingenuity, and empathy. Those qualities had carried him through challenges before, and they would again. The council chamber was bustling when they arrived. Delegates from various worlds sat at their stations, and the air was thick with tension. Eliar noticed a group of Zintrians exchanging sharp glances. Their skin glowed a cold blue, a sign of anxiety and agitation. "Stay close to me," Lyra whispered, her glow now a subtle gold. "Trust your instincts, Captain." They began the session, exchanging points about trade routes and technology transfers. Eliar focused on clarity, delivering his words with precision. Lyra's translations were careful, and her skin pulsed in warm tones, signaling calm to the other delegates. Suddenly, alarms blared through the station. Red lights flashed, and the sound of rushing feet echoed through the corridors. Eliar's heart raced. He looked to Lyra. Her glow shifted sharply to deep red, a warning. "What is happening?" he asked, his voice calm despite the adrenaline pumping through his veins. "A sabotage," Lyra said. "Some delegates are attempting to manipulate the station systems. They aim to make it appear as though humans caused a disruption. We must act quickly." Eliar's mind raced. He had faced danger before, but this was different. They were trapped on the station with hostile forces, and the safety of Lyra and the fragile trust between their peoples depended on him. "Lead the way," he said firmly. "I'll follow your instructions." Lyra guided him through the corridors, moving swiftly yet carefully. Her skin pulsed golden as she led, signaling confidence and focus. Eliar followed, observing the faintly glowing lines along the floor that indicated safe paths. They reached the control hub, only to find it in chaos. Screens flickered, alarms blared, and a group of rogue delegates attempted to manipulate the systems. Eliar assessed the situation quickly. "We need to secure the main control panel," he said. "Lyra, Can you override their access? Yes, but it will take time, she said, her glow shifting to a soft lavender. We must protect the path to the panel. Eliar nodded, understanding. He moved forward, using his knowledge of human tactics and ingenuity. With careful precision, he disabled several security overrides, rerouted power, and blocked access points. Each movement was calculated, fast, and efficient. The rogue delegates noticed and advanced toward them. But Lyra's subtle signals guided Eliar through safe maneuvers. Her skin glowed in rapid pulses of gold and pink, a language of strategy and trust only he could understand. Eliar ducked behind a console as a plasma tool sparked nearby. He could hear Lyra's calm voice, translating not words but intent through subtle hand movements. They worked as a team, humans and Zintrians united by trust and necessity. After tense minutes, they reached the main control panel. Lyra's fingers danced over her interface, her skin glowing brighter with concentration. Eliar assisted by holding the access lock steady, fending off any attempts to disrupt the process. Almost there, Lyra said, her voice steady but urgent. Just a few more sequences. Eliar's mind raced. He realized that the success of the negotiations, the trust between humans and Zintrians, and even their personal safety depended on their coordination and courage. One mistake could be disastrous. Finally, Lyra hit the final command. The rogue delegates were locked out of the system, alarms silenced, and normal operations restored. The station's lights stabilized, and the tense red glow faded into calm white illumination. Eliar exhaled, relief washing over him. We did it, he said, looking at Lyra. Lyra's skin shimmered in soft pink and gold. Yes. Thanks to you, Captain. Your courage, your quick thinking. It made all the difference. Eliar felt a warmth in his chest. We make a good team, he said. I couldn't have done it without your guidance. Lyra smiled, a gentle glow radiating across her form. You were brave, human. And brave humans are rare among many worlds. You remind me why I trust you. Their moment of relief was brief, however. The council soon convened to assess the situation. The rogue delegates were held accountable, and evidence clearly showed the sabotage attempt. The council praised Eliar's bravery and Lyra's wisdom, acknowledging the humans' courage and the Zintrians' skill. As the formal session ended, Lyra led Eliar to a quiet observation deck overlooking the stars. The glow of distant planets and streaks of passing ships reflected in the glass, a serene contrast to the chaos they had just endured. You acted with honor, Lyra said softly, and your actions have strengthened the trust between our peoples. I did not expect such courage. Eliar smiled, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. It was instinct, I think. Humans value trust and honesty. When someone you care about is in danger, you act. Lyra's glow pulsed gently, a warm pink spreading across her shoulders. Then perhaps humanity has qualities that are rare, even among the stars. Your people have courage, empathy, and the ability to act even when the outcome is uncertain. That is remarkable. Eliar chuckled softly. I suppose we do. And sometimes, we surprise even ourselves. They stood together in silence, watching the stars. The bond between them had grown, not only from shared danger, but from understanding and trust. Eliar realized that this connection was more powerful than any agreement or protocol. It was personal, genuine, and rare. You know, Lyra said after a moment, your earlier compliment. It was unusual for a Zintrian. But it had meaning. It was simple, human, yet it carried honesty. That started this connection. Eliar smiled, remembering the words he had spoken. I didn't know then how important it would be. But sometimes, the simplest gestures matter the most. Lyra's skin glowed softly, a blend of gold and pink that signaled warmth and appreciation. Indeed. And it is why I trust you, human. You are genuine, And that is extraordinary. Eliar felt a quiet pride. He realized that in the vast galaxy, filled with advanced technology, strange worlds, and countless civilizations, humanity's greatest strength was still its heart, its ability to connect, to care, and to act courageously when it mattered most. The station settled into calm as the day ended. Delegates returned to their quarters, and the glow of lights reflected off metal and glass in serene patterns. Eliar and Lyra remained on the observation deck for a while longer, speaking quietly of their hopes for the future, the potential of cooperation, and the possibility of new understanding between humans and Zintrians. As the night deepened, Eliar looked at Lyra and realized something important. Beyond negotiations and duty, beyond strategy and diplomacy, there was a rare and valuable bond forming. A bond built on trust, courage, and honesty. And in a galaxy often ruled by politics and conflict, that bond was more powerful than any agreement or treaty. Lyra's glow softened to a gentle pink, signaling contentment and perhaps something more. Eliar smiled, feeling that same warmth in his chest. Tomorrow, Lyra said softly, we continue. But tonight, let us rest. We have proven much already, human, and there is more to come. Eliar nodded, looking at the stars. Rest sounds good, but I know one thing: we are stronger together. Human and Zintrian. Trust and courage. We can face whatever comes next. Lyra's glow pulsed warmly, almost in agreement. Yes, Captain. Together, we are stronger. And as the station's lights dimmed for rest, both of them felt a quiet triumph. They had faced danger, acted with courage, and strengthened the trust between their peoples. Humanity's qualities, honesty, empathy, and bravery had shone brightly, proving that even across the stars, humans could inspire trust and respect. And in that moment, Eliar realized something profound. Sometimes, the simplest gestures, combined with courage and integrity, could bridge worlds, touch hearts, and create something extraordinary. The galaxy was vast, and challenges awaited, but for now, the human captain and the Zintrian diplomat shared a rare victory, a moment of trust, courage, and connection that neither would forget. The station was calm that morning, yet a quiet excitement lingered in the air. News of the thwarted sabotage had spread among the delegates, and whispers of respect for humans were slowly rising. Captain Eliar, despite the late night, felt alert and ready. The events of the previous day had strengthened his confidence not just in himself, but in the partnership he shared with Lyra. Lyra awaited him at the observation deck, her glow a gentle combination of gold and soft pink. Good morning, Captain Eliar, she said, her tone calm but radiant. Today is the day the Council will decide. The agreements we discussed will be reviewed, and your actions will be considered. Eliar nodded. I understand. And no matter the outcome, I hope we have proven something important. Trust and understanding can cross any boundary, even between worlds. Lyra's eyes shimmered. Indeed, let us go. Together, they walked through the corridors, their steps steady. The council chamber was already filled with delegates, all turning their attention to the pair as they entered. The atmosphere was tense, yet hopeful. The evidence of the sabotage was clear, and Eliar's bravery, along with Lyra's guidance, had made an undeniable impression. The head of the council, a tall Zintrian with flowing light along her arms, addressed the room. Delegates. Today we review not only the proposed trade agreements, but also the character of those who represent their peoples. Captain Eliar of Earth has demonstrated courage, clarity, and integrity. Eliar felt a small flush in his chest. His actions had mattered, not just strategically, but morally. The Council's focus on character reflected the values he had always tried to live by: honesty, empathy, and respect for others. Lyra stood beside him, her glow calm and steady, signaling her support. When she spoke, her words carried both clarity and warmth. The sabotage attempt was uncovered by Captain Eliar's quick thinking. He acted not out of duty alone, but from a place of respect for life and trust. I endorse him fully. Murmurs filled the chamber, delegates exchanging glances. Some were impressed, others hesitant, but it was clear that the council respected her judgment. After careful discussion and review of the agreements, the council reached a decision. The trade agreement was approved. Human technology would be exchanged for Zintrian energy innovations, and both worlds would benefit. But more importantly, the council acknowledged the bond between the human captain and the Zintrian diplomat, a rare example of trust and collaboration between species. Eliar and Lyra exchanged a glance, their subtle smiles reflected in the soft glow of their surroundings. They had done more than negotiate, they had demonstrated that humanity's qualities, small gestures, and courageous actions could build bridges across the galaxy. When the session ended, the delegates returned to their quarters. The station was quieter now, filled with the soft hum of machinery and distant stars shining through the observation windows. Eliar and Lyra remained in the chamber, speaking quietly about the outcomes. "You did well," Lyra said, her skin glowing softly in warm gold. "Your actions today have changed how humans are seen here. You have earned respect." Eliar shook his head modestly. "We both did well. Your guidance was as important as any skill I brought. Without you, I would have been lost." Lyra's glow deepened slightly, a signal of sincerity and subtle affection. "Perhaps humans have something unique, not just courage or ingenuity, but the ability to connect genuinely, to act with empathy even when consequences are uncertain." Eliar smiled. "It seems we humans can surprise even ourselves. But I think the true surprise is how much I've learned from you, Lyra. Not just about your people, but about trust and connection." They walked together to the observation deck, looking out at the infinite stars. Eliar felt a quiet sense of pride, not arrogance, but fulfillment. Humanity's strength had shone brightly, not through weapons or technology, but through integrity, courage, and empathy. Lyra turned to him, her silver eyes reflecting the stars. "Captain Eliar, your compliment on our first meeting. You may not realize it, but it started this journey." Simple words, spoken honestly, opened a door that few outsiders could ever approach. Eliar remembered that moment, the blush that had spread across her luminous skin, the gentle glow that had signaled trust. "I didn't know it would matter so much," he said. "But it did, and it shows that small gestures can have a great impact." Lyra's glow shimmered in soft pink and gold, radiating warmth and approval. "Yes, humanity has a rare quality. Your honesty, courage, and empathy are remarkable. That is why I trust you. That is why I value this connection." Eliar felt a deep sense of awe. Across the galaxy, amid countless worlds, they had found something rare. Mutual respect, trust, and understanding. It was not just the success of a trade agreement, it was a victory of human character, of simple virtues that could touch even the most distant hearts. "Lyra," he said softly, "this is only the beginning. Not just for trade, but for friendship, cooperation. I hope to continue learning from you and your people." Her skin pulsed gently, the soft gold blending with a gentle pink. "And I hope to continue learning from you. You have shown what humans can offer: courage, integrity, and the ability to inspire trust. That is invaluable." They stood together in silence, gazing out at the stars. Eliar thought about Earth, about the oceans and forests, the people who worked tirelessly for progress, and the countless acts of kindness and bravery that went unnoticed. Humanity was far from perfect, but moments like these, courage and honesty in action, could ripple across worlds. "Tomorrow," Lyra said finally, "we will continue our work, building cooperation between our peoples. But tonight, let us appreciate what we have accomplished. You have proven humanity's strength in a way that words alone cannot describe." Eliar nodded. "Yes. Tonight, we celebrate. Not just the agreement, but the connection we've made. That is the real victory." Lyra smiled, her glow softening to a gentle, steady rhythm. Then let us celebrate, human. And may this trust endure, for the sake of both our peoples. As the station lights dimmed, Eliar and Lyra found themselves alone on the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a reminder of the vast galaxy beyond. Eliar felt a quiet joy not of conquest or achievement, but of understanding and connection. Lyra's glow shifted slightly, a warm blush signaling what words could not fully express. Trust, respect, and perhaps the beginnings of affection. Eliar understood. Across species and culture, a human and a Zintrian had found something rare, a connection built on honesty, courage, and genuine care. You know, Eliar said softly, I came here to negotiate a trade agreement. But I've learned more than I could have imagined, about your people, about your culture, and about the power of trust and courage. Lyra nodded, her skin shimmering softly. And I have learned from you, human. Your actions, your words, your courage, they are extraordinary. That is why I trust you completely. Eliar smiled. Then perhaps this is more than diplomacy. Perhaps it is the start of something that can inspire others, across all worlds, to connect in the same way. Lyra's glow brightened subtly, a gentle affirmation. Yes. And humanity will always have a place among the stars. Not just for its technology or achievements, but for its heart. Eliar felt a profound sense of purpose. In a galaxy of endless possibilities, humans had proven that character mattered. Empathy, honesty, and courage were not just virtues, they were bridges, and through those bridges, humans could inspire trust, cooperation, and even friendship across the stars. As the night deepened, Eliar and Lyra stood together quietly, watching the stars move slowly past the station. They had faced danger. They had built trust. And they had connected in ways that transcended language, culture, and species. Tomorrow, challenges would come again. Diplomacy would continue. Negotiations would test their skills. And the galaxy would always offer new trials. But tonight, they had triumphed, not through technology or power, but through courage, honesty, and the simple, human ability to connect. And in that moment, Eliar realized something extraordinary. A human's heart could shine across the universe, touching even the most distant worlds. A simple compliment, a small act of courage, or a gesture of honesty could change everything. Lyra's skin glowed softly, warm gold and gentle pink, reflecting the stars and the connection they shared. Eliar's own heart felt bright, filled with hope, trust, and the knowledge that humanity had the power to make a difference not just on Earth, but across the galaxy. They stood side by side, looking at the endless stars, knowing that their journey had only begun. A human and a Zintrian, united by trust, courage, and understanding, ready to face whatever came next. And in the quiet of the observation deck, the galaxy seemed just a little smaller, just a little warmer, thanks to the remarkable power of humanity.